everyone, this is Emma. This is just a little trigger warning to let you know that this podcast contains content about violence against women.
So she was trying to stop a cat getting into the apartment. She started feeding all the cats, and now all the cats are like, oh. So they're all swarming.
Like extreme boomer paws, not millennial paws.
Oh god, yeah, extreme boomer paws.
The Secret Lives
Of Mormon Wives. Yes.
Oh yeah, I do want to watch this actually.
Oh, do it.
It's fucking dreadful. It's honestly like
It's slim pickings.
Yeah, it's awful. It's like the dregs of humanity and me and Emma.
Oh, hello, friends, and welcome to the Sad Girls Club podcast. Woo! Have you been chucked? Patriarchy getting you down, cry behind your pal Amy's garage and ruin the New Year's party again? Well, you're in good company, because this is the Sad Girls Club podcast where you are allowed to be sad about the big things and the small things. And this evening, I'm your host, Hannah Elizabeth Morton, and I'm with
Emma McDougall.
and
Hannah Sutherland.
we are Amy-less this evening.
Again.
Again. I know.
Stop being so fucking busy.
Is she not have her birthday drink?
She's out for her birthday drinks because
fine.
it's her birthday this week, so...
Oh my god, when is her birthday?
I think it's on Friday.
Oh, I should get her a fucking present. Oh, whoops.
Where's my present,
I'm bad
Hannah?
with dates and times.
My birthday's just after yours. Where's
Yeah,
my
you
present,
didn't get me
bitch?
one either.
Oh, sorry, guys.
Why does Amy get a present? Is it because
Actually-
she's the baby?
Actually, I pay for this podcast. So
Yeah,
happy birthday!
I know, happy birthday, guys. Happy Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. It's for you.
Kwanzaa, all the holidays.
All the holidays. Happy Valentine's Day, guys. It's because I love you. We okay, Paul? Yeah, that's fine. So we'll kick us off. Emma, what you sad about?
Happy tears.
Happy tears.
I'm going to say wholesome, just a wholesome night. One of my best friends, Callum, who listens to the podcast with his beautiful wife, Laura.
Lovely.
Callum and I have a
I'm going to say
relationship.
I fully assumed Callum was a gay man because he listens to this podcast.
No, he's
He's just a sad boy.
a sad boy. He's a supportive man friend.
Lovely. They exist.
They exist in the world, and Callum and I met in college, and we just bonded. And normally, actually, Callum would be great in this club because Callum and I's friendship, we always supported each other when like shit would hit the fan. If we'd been dumped, if people had been shite, like we always used to get together and bitch about it. And you know, our parents used to work together and stuff, so it was like this weird
Lovely.
Yeah.
meeting of like, oh, we have a weird past sort of thing, and we just became besties. And then obviously life gets in the way, and I, as you know me, I'm a low maintenance sort of friend, like can go weeks, months,
we
years.
didn't speak for 4 years.
We didn't speak for 4 years for some time. No, but like I'm a low maintenance friend. Like if I don't see you for ages, doesn't mean that you know our friendship has dwindled anything. It's just that life gets in the way. And I was invited over to Callum and Laura's household, and they've got a lovely wee boy, Elliot, and we had pizza, and Elliot and I just, I'm me being turbo auntie, like we just had the best time. And it's that sort of thing brings a wee lump to your throat because you're just like, I'm very lucky to have the friends that I do. And Callum's class, and his wife Laura is even like, you know how sometimes when your pals marry people or they get boyfriends, and sometimes you're like, oh, not too fond of them or something. Laura is just class.
Especially, I think when it is like a guy friend and then like they get a girlfriend, like there's a whole like ether of like misogyny that's in our heads where we like women are pitted against each other and all that sort of stuff, and you go, oh, am I going to like her? Is she going to hate me? Or is she going to think something? Or blah 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 blah. And then you're like, oh no, you're class.
You know, oh no, honestly, Laura is class. She's so funny. And being a gal, like, to be fair, Callum loves the gossip and stuff as well, but like Laura would live for it. And it's honestly, I don't think there's a better person that he could have, like, she is his soulmate.
And
like,
she's now your friend.
And she's now my, I would like, Callum, I love you, but fucking Laura's up there as well.
I had that the other night after we finished our podcast with Darren.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I'm jumping a taxi. I'm going to go to my pal Tanya's. And yet again, Tanya's a friend that I met through some guy or like even David's guy friends. Like it was like a flatmate that we had that David went to school with. And we all went to a music festival, and it was a bunch of his work friends that she was friends with, and now she is fully like core friends as Tanya. And then even on top of that, so Tanya invited round Natalie, who is the original flatmate's new girlfriend, right? So Fraser's girlfriend. So I've now known Fraser as long as I've known David. I lived with him at one point, like all this sort of stuff. Natalie is class. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I literally keep turning to her being like, if he ever breaks up with you, like, I will choose you in this relationship. Like, she's so much fun. And I think I turned to him a couple of like nights out and I was like,
You're punching.
If you break up with her, it will be the worst thing that you do. Like,
if you hurt her,
I will find you. Like, because she's just so good. But it is like, because it could have just been like a random that, and sometimes that happens. It's like, oh yeah, the girls, like, you go talk over there and we'll talk over here. And you're like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to like these people.
Yeah.
Like, just because we're girls doesn't mean we're all going to be friends. No.
Oh no, I would happily go out for a bevy with Laura.
Oh, lovely.
I would love it. They're just, so yeah, it was just a night, and on the way home, I was just like, that was just soup for the soul. Like, it was just so wholesome. And again, it's like, you don't see them for ages, but you honestly, I felt like I lived with them. Like, it's just, it's so cool. And he'll be well chuffed that you got a wee shout out in the podcast. Hi Callum, hi Laura.
Callum, if you could like and subscribe, that'd be great.
Oh, he's probably,
5 stars.
He's done all. He's done all.
I know, there's those, I think I had a pal, and I just assume nobody's actually listening, to be honest. Like, I'm like, this is just like my diary that we're recording for some reason.
It's also really fun because that's what something, so obviously because Callum and I've got low maintenance friendship, there's so many things that, like, he'll be listening to the podcast and he'll be texting me and like, why do you not fucking tell me? And I'm like, because I just don't.
Like,
so
you should just, if you need any life updates from
if you need a life update, listen to the podcast.
It's like, hey, what you up to? You just send the new episode.
Like and subscribe.
It's like, how's it all going? There you go.
No, but that was it. The one I put out a clip of me and Amy talking about how we think men don't wash their bums properly. And you're looking at me like, I don't know what clip this is.
No, I do know what clip it is because my friend Andy commented on it.
Oh, was it him? Yeah. I was going, who's this fucking guy?
Oh, and Andy used to send me videos of him like shitting.
Oh, great.
I don't know videos, but he'd be like, what are you up to? Or it was when Snapchat was like a popular thing in college, and he'd be like,
we're friends with this man?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. Good.
Andy's a lad, but
your face.
You're like, ew.
But anyway, so we put that out, and I randomly got a message from like a guy I went to school with, and he was like, oh, this is so funny. I randomly was talking to other guy that we went to school with, saying, oh, I need to jump in the shower. Like, made a joke being like, oh, I need to go wash my arse or something like that. Boys being boys. And he went, oh, you've been listening to the Sad Girls Club podcast, have you? Or something like that.
Oh.
And I was like, they've not meant that in any way to be like, oh, we're listening or blah, blah, blah. But I was like, it's good to know somebody's even watching the fucking clip. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, oh, good to know.
Good to know. Good to know.
Hannah, what you sad about this week?
Not sad, more just a struggle.
Oh.
So my mum and dad are on holiday at the minute.
I was on holiday, they are.
Yeah, because my dad retired last year.
As soon as I know you're about to talk about your mum and dad, the joy it brings me, they are the funniest thing ever.
Honestly, I now look at them and I go, how did you manage to get me from A to B when I was younger? Because the pair of them, I'm like, why is it so much of a struggle? Everything seems to be. So I got, for the listeners at home,
Is it a voice note?
No, it's a picture of my mum trying to show me what she was wearing on her holidays.
What?
So
Is that a picture of it?
So your camera's over here.
Wait.
She's coming right up. Go back, down.
Oh, go
down,
back.
Down. Right, give me it.
Oh my God. No, if it goes too close, you can't see it.
Oh, here comes Paul. Here comes Paul to save the day.
Paul's going to help us.
Right, bring it down a wee bit. There you go. Up. There you go.
This is great for the audio listeners right now.
Okay, there we go. Okay. This is why you need to watch us on YouTube also. Listen to the podcast, then go re-listen to it on the tube.
So it's a picture that my mum has taken of
a picture.
Dad's phone.
Yeah. But it's not even
a picture.
It looks like she's about to send it as well.
Selected on my dad's phone of her.
So your dad has taken the picture, and instead of just sending the picture from your dad's phone, she has taken and selected the picture.
Yeah.
And taken a picture of it on her phone.
Yes, and then sent that to me. And all
I was like, what do you think?
It was, this is what I'm wearing tonight. And I was like, great fun. And don't get me wrong, she looks very nice, but she also doesn't have any shoes on. And I was like, why didn't you just send that from Dad's phone to yours, or just get Dad to send
it to me.
And then maybe an hour later, I got the original picture sent.
Just went, actually, that's a good point.
So yeah, I've had many really just bizarre interactions they've had on holidays. Some voice notes as well. I've got one of a cat, and they also she managed to lock them both out of their apartment at one point.
Brilliant!
The cat or no?
No. So she was trying to stop a cat getting into the apartment because she started feeding all the cats, and now all the cats are like, oh. So they're all swarming. And then this cat tried to sneak in through the swishy mosquito curtain. And my mum went, oh no, I'll shut the door. Shut the door, but shut her, my dad, and all the cats outside.
What, like on their balcony? Or like, right.
Well, they have like a little garden bit.
Right,
so
okay, that's fine. You're not like stuck on the balcony.
It's like 5 cats. Yeah. I'm going to lower my dad down.
I know.
I do have, let me see if I've
Yeah, what age are your mum and dad?
My dad is 61 and my mum is 55.
They are not as old as they are seeming.
No, neither of them look old. I think they've just kind of got to the age where they've just sort of given up a bit. It's like they've just not, they're not trying to advance themselves.
No, they're just like, that's enough
just
now.
Like, that's fine. Like my mum, every picture, she just sent me a picture. Every picture she takes has the flash on. Regardless, you can be in full daylight.
Yeah.
Or it can be in a dark space, and then she's just like, so every picture, like, it's very shocking.
My dad constantly has his torch on in his pocket for some reason. Like, and then like
maybe he just wants to be Iron Man.
But sometimes, like, you know what I mean? Like, if I do it by accident, David's pure, all right, Bob. Like, all right, whoops. No, but it is like they just sort of stop. Like, I think I said that to you the. Oh my god, you're still looking at. You're like looking at photos.
Yeah, I'm trying
like,
to find these voice notes.
No, I was saying to Hannah the other night that David's mum and dad are like this, and it's not that like they're obviously functioning human beings and they go through life, but as soon as David arrives in a situation, they shut down. And I watched. Don't get me wrong, it was like David's mum, dad, and his brother all try and buy like a train ticket, and it was like it was like watching like an alien trying to buy a train ticket. Like, as now they were pure, and where are we going, and what is it? And I think it was like we were trying to get to the West End, but there was a Rangers game on, so David was like, we'll just get the train to Partick, and then we'll go. And literally it was like them being like, and where would one purchase such a thing, and where would we, and I was like twitching watching, and of course they're not your parents, so you, if it was my mum and dad, I'd be like
just
Bob, come on to fight. Move.
I just tend to book it for them now.
David does this. David just takes over.
Yeah, I just do it. It's so much easier. Like, my dad can't buy anything online. It's a struggle.
He just likes his little models, doesn't he?
Yeah, he makes his wee models. But then when the models aren't available in his special model shop, he gets very upset.
Yeah. Because then he'll have to buy them online. He doesn't know how
and
to
then
do
it's
that.
like, the internet model.
And your dad is like smart.
Yeah, he's really clever. And I don't think he realises how clever he
is.
He
worked for the government for years.
Yeah, for like 40 plus years he worked for the government. Like,
a big feminist.
Yes, huge feminist. Loves the Sad Girls Club.
Yeah, he does.
Seen it multiple times.
He flyered for us during the Fringe.
Yes,
he did a great job.
Yeah, wait, pull that out. You've like caught it.
Sorry, Hannah's hair got caught in her hat.
There we go.
There we go.
But just frustration with the parents.
Yeah.
But we love them. We do.
They are. Yeah, they're like my best pals. I have a voice note now.
Oh, can you play the voice note?
Of course.
I've lost Darren. He came in the bossy and I can no longer find him.
Who's Darren?
We're getting there. I got a random message. This is Darren. He lives with us now. No other context.
Oh.
And I was like, okay, fab, I have a new sibling. Are
we swingers now?
Uncomfortable. Eventually, maybe then 5 minutes later, a picture of a cat.
Oh, okay.
A wee white cat who...
She called Darren.
Yeah. So they have Darren and Stuart. That both come and visit them.
Very nice.
His wee pal's gone. His wee pal's George.
Oh no, George. Sorry. So Darren and George.
I love that these are 2-second voice notes as well.
Yes.
It's like something she could have texted. But
no.
Did you teach her how to voice note?
Yes, and
I
now
love that.
she does occasionally enjoy a voice note. But it will always be extreme pause. And then, hello, it's me.
It's like, well,
just make sure it's recording first.
Like extreme boomer pause, not millennial pause.
Oh God, yeah, extreme boomer pause. And she has to if she gets my dad has to be made to voice note, and it's always mum holds the button and he speaks.
Hello.
Mum will go.
And does he go like, it's your father?
Yes. And I go, hello, it's me, your father. Okay.
Yeah, my dad signs off like D at the end of text messages.
Dad.
Or for like
Like, so it's not even like B for Bob, it's like
Yeah.
D for dad.
Aw. He's proud of that title.
I know.
What are you sad this
What
week?
am I sad about this week? Oh, mine's a bit heavy. Not heavy.
Unload.
I know. It's just more so me and David watched a random like murder thriller last night.
What was it called?
Oh, I honestly couldn't remember.
Oh.
Like
Okay.
it was.
Was it at the cinema? Or-
No, we were just watching it on the telly. Samuel Jackson was in it. It's set in Scotland. My mother might be
Was
in
it Snakes on a Plane?
No. So
Elaine's in Snakes on a Plane.
she's getting those checks. No, so my mum did, and I don't want to slag a thing that my mum's in because that's bad. But my mum got asked to play this really little part in this sort of indie movie that was getting shot in Edinburgh, and the big thing was that Samuel Jackson was going to be in it. And he was going to be the main person, and they filmed it they had him for 2 weeks, right? So it was like a really quick shoot, and she was just to be like nosy Scottish neighbour, right? And so David found it and was like, let's watch it, and like blah blah blah, and like the movie's fine. Mum's obviously great, but then the whole, it's just yet again with the violence against women
Yeah.
in movies, and it was really graphic. Like it was, and it wasn't like rape scenes or anything like that. It was just that like when he murders them, he chops up their body parts and puts their body parts into crucifixes, right?
God, yeah.
And then, but they show you it all, right? And I was very desensitized to it. Like it wasn't like I was going,
Yeah.
I was just like watching it and I was going like,
Again?
why again? Like, are we not, like, I understand like these things do happen to women, and but we're not showing it to go, look how bad this is.
Yeah.
We're showing it as
Like
Entertainment.
a shock factor.
a shock factor, entertainment. It's all, and then actually at one point in the movie, it turns out it wasn't just women he was targeting, but it was like like they literally went, oh, and then he killed that guy, and then like moved on.
So
But it's only the violence
focusing on the
against women that
that
they
they
were
were
showing.
Yeah.
And I understand like they're probably doing like what every other fucking movie out there's doing and like all that sort of stuff. But I just was like, I'm so done with this.
Yeah.
Like I'm so done with watching this. And like there's ways of doing this that are better than this. Like even like, and I remember being like really affected by this. And it was a Mila Kunis movie called like The Innocent Girl or something like that. It's on Netflix. It's a shit movie. Like it's a really, really shit, and it's sort of sold to you on Netflix as like, oh, this girl survived she survives like a school shooting, right?
Yeah.
And it's her 20 years later revisiting, right? So you're like, oh, okay, this is what it's about. That's what you're prepared for. What they did not they fucking buried the lead. What they did not tell you is the reason that like everybody thinks that she was maybe a part of it is because she was like really horrifically sexually assaulted by like a bunch of boys in our school who they are the boys that die, right? So you think, oh, she's something to do with it. Do they show you in detail what happens, and do they do that?
hell.
And just as like random flashbacks and stuff like that. And I remember David being like, are you okay? And I was like, one, not the movie I thought I was going to watch, and two, what was the fucking point in this?
Yeah, we don't need to-
We didn't
yeah.
need that. You could have just told us it as
Yeah.
like as a backstory thing. It could have been this whole thing, and I was angry about it. And I think like last night watching that, I was just like, here we fucking go again.
Yeah.
Like, and it's just annoying me, like more than annoying me. But it's like, and it's like people talk about it in like Game of Thrones. Like, why did we have to have all these scenes? Like, why
Yeah.
did we have to do all this sort of stuff? And like, so that's what I'm not meaning to bring the mood down, but I'm just a bit angry about the whole thing.
No, I think
I can
that's-
lift the mood up.
Oh yeah.
It's a show that I watched this week. I had a wee binge. It's only 8 episodes, and you get angry in it, like you get raging in it. It is The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I do want to watch this actually.
Oh, do
Yeah.
it, because
Yeah.
I'm not normally into those TV shows.
Yeah.
Because I know
we really pivoted there.
pivoted there. And it's, obviously, some things like this are staged, and it's not, greatly edited.
No.
You know, it's
They're just mental, are they
you
not?
feel like you're watching it and going, I feel like there was
I
feel like there was 3 seasons before this and I've missed a lot of stuff, but it's just the first season. And they kind of split themselves, the group, the women, the wives, into like the saints and the sinners. So the saints are the ones who maybe follow the Mormon faith, you know, to the book, no drinking, no, you know, no this. And they themselves then contradict each other because they're like, oh, our body is a temple, but I will put Botox in my body and I'll do ketamine therapy and all of these.
That's the audio that's going viral at the moment on TikTok. Is it's like, we're Mormons, so we don't drink, we don't do this, and then it like smash cuts into. So me and Nikki did ketamine. It's like, what?
I honestly was watching it going, you literally said you don't take drugs.
You don't drink. They don't drink coffee. They don't drink
coffee,
tea.
no caffeine, and it soda's their thing. But then they were like, yeah, but it was a ketamine therapy though. It was like,
mean?
it's obviously something in America. I was like, I'd never heard of it before.
I mean,
I've
when
still too yet to Google
accidentally
it.
took ketamine, it was not there. It was a really bad time that I had.
But then you have the sinners who I wouldn't even say are sinners. They are challenging the faith and being like, we don't agree that, you know, men should say what, you know, be in charge of their wives or be the breadwinners or, you know,
Have
and yes, we can drink and yes,
wives and rape children.
you know, and we can go to, you know, we can go to Vegas and go see, you know, his Chippendales and it, you know, to be, but.
Was it not, the whole thing is that because they're on TikTok now, they are bringing in so much money into the house that they are accidentally
they are the breadwinners. You know, and there's a whole kind of sex scandal within it where
and all their husbands are gay, right?
Yes.
There is one
Obviously.
that is so most definitely queer in some shape or form. But which
is fine. But just don't be married to a woman.
There was a moment in it where one of the husbands, there was a whole scandal because he had been on Tinder. And I'm like, I bet you any money it wasn't Tinder. I bet you it was Grindr. And I'm like, why do we need to, and obviously that would be part of the scandal, that obviously if he's married to a woman and he's, you know, maybe pansexual, bisexual, whatever it is, maybe he is gay, doesn't matter in my opinion. But obviously if you're married to a woman, you need to
you're not in an open relationship.
You're not in an open relationship. You're obviously not being honest and you're cheating. But I'm also just like, did we, and in my head, this is obviously me assuming, but I'm like, if it was Grindr, just say Grindr.
Yeah.
Why are we shaming away from that? You don't have to. But in talking about like getting angry, there's part of it where they do go to Chippendales and one of the saints' husbands, and literally it was a surprise. One of the other girls planned it. They got to Chippendales and they had like a meet and greet. So some of the women were like oiling up the men and stuff. And she chose to not partake in that. She was obviously, our friends were like, got a surprise. So she was brought there and it's not to her taste. But her husband went through her like a ton of bricks and he was like, this marriage is over. How dare you do this? You are dirty. You're this. And I was just like, that's not her fault. Why are you reacting? And it made me so angry.
Emma, I'm picturing you like in your jammies, face mask on, being like, nah, it's fucking ridiculous.
100%. That's legit what happened. But honestly, if you want to be a wee bit angry at trash TV, go watch The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives.
Maybe that's better. Well, no, I'd rather be angrier about like violence against women, to be honest. But I can be angry about both. Both things can exist at the same time.
Same time.
I know.
Yeah. That's the lift mood up.
Lovely.
But what is today's topic, Hannah?
Today's topic. So we're going to do a fun one. We're going to talk about dating apps. And this is pretty much because I was out with you the other night.
Yeah.
So Hannah's favourite thing to do is to just hand you her phone when she goes to the toilet and goes, do you want to play?
Yep.
And it's you
Yeah,
just go through her Hinge. But it's obviously like, I've been on dating apps. I'm not a spinster. I've been on dating apps before. Actually, that's how I met David, was the dating apps.
Yep.
But yeah, so like, what dating apps are you guys on? What's the chat?
I have Hinge at the minute, and it is slowly destroying my will to live. I don't know why I still have it. It's fucking dreadful. It's honestly like
it's slim pickings.
Yeah, it's awful. It's like the dregs of humanity and me and Emma. And that's it.
So the dregs of humanity then.
Basically. And it's just, it gets to a stage where you've looked at so many people either playing rugby or holding a pub, or there's like 8 men
holding a pub.
In a pub, sorry.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Holding a fish in a pub.
Yeah. 8 men lined up on holiday.
Which one are you?
Yeah, which one are you? And then they're like, what's your ideal Sunday? Sunday roast, walk, nap. And you're like, right. And then it's just repeat. over and over again.
It's like the Matrix.
It literally is. And you go, what? I'm not gaining anything from this. But yeah, I don't delete it. And I don't know why.
No. I do, like, I get that it sort of makes you go like, well, at least I'm putting myself out there, I'm doing stuff. But you can still go, I'm out here, but I am alone out here. Like, I am an island. Like,
yeah, and it's just, sometimes people that like you as well, you open them up and it's like a jump scare almost. Like, where did you come from? Yeah, not ideal.
No. And what ones are you on, Emma?
So I did use Hinge for a while, and then I felt like that wasn't successful for me.
Yeah, because I always thought, I think this is maybe what Hinge was originally, and now it's just a dating app. But I think originally it was, you sort of had to have a Hinge with someone. So you had to have like a friend in common or something.
Okay.
So it was
I've
like,
never heard that.
I think, and I could be completely wrong, but I believe this is what it started on, was like, they take like your Facebook information and go like, you're a friend of someone. And so that's how you connect with someone, which I prefer because that's what, when I was on Tinder, those were the people that I would interact with. Like my friend Amy, who's just got engaged, she met her boyfriend on Tinder, but he is a friend of our other friends and like worked with her. But we just, it turns out we've been to the same parties with him for the last 10 years. We just didn't ever interact with him. And then so literally she was like, oh wait, I know you. You're not a complete stranger. Let's meet up.
Yeah.
And now they're
I know
engaged.
you're not going to murder me.
Yeah, it works. Yeah, so I believe that, but now that it's just like a fucking another one, I can understand why it's like maybe not the best.
Yeah, so did that for a while, and then Tinder and Bumble are the ones that I'll use. But I'll tell you my secret.
Like them all?
No, just bite the bullet and pay for like
the
premium or the gold.
No,
and I tell you for why. Because I have not had to sit and swipe through men that I like in the hopes that they'll like me. I go to see who has liked me and I dwindle out from there.
Yeah.
So,
I'm with you because you can only match if they've also liked you.
Yeah, so if you don't pay for premium, you obviously need to swipe left or right on the people that you're interested in. They may or may not match with you. And I find that boring.
Yeah.
And like, it's dull, it takes forever, like... You could sit there, swipe, and never get a match. So I just go, do you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to pay whatever, a tenner or whatever it is, just for the premium. And it'll give you it for like a week or whatever. And then you can just sit and you go to your like who's liked you page and go, nope, yeah. And just whittle it down from there. And I just find it so much easier, and it's worked.
Yeah.
It's how I found my ex-partner. It's how I'm dating now.
Like maybe the ex-partner's not what we go.
No, but like that's...
Has it really worked?
But to be fair, that was a somewhat successful relationship until the end.
Yes, that does make sense.
I just find it's easier, quicker, and I know I'm paying for it, and that's, people might be like, it's a scam, but I'm like, it saves time.
Is it not like there's that dating app, Araya? Which is like for like Araya?
I think it's just Rhea.
Rhea, okay. So it's for like famous people, right?
I think it is.
And I think it's...
You need a blue tick on Instagram.
Yeah, I think it's like sort of like, because...
Or you have to be invited.
You can't just be like a crazy fan wanting to date them
Yeah,
or whatever.
yeah.
So I do get it. But I do think there's a thing where it's like, but if you are of a certain status in Hollywood, they're paying for it. Like, so like rich of the rich are going like, right, well, fuck it, I'll pay for it and stuff like that. So there's not much difference.
So I just think that's my advice.
Maybe you're Googling.
You should try it.
You're like, how do I get on this?
But yeah, I would genuinely just bite the bullet. If you are on dating apps right now and you are fed up and feel like you're not matching with the right people or whatever, give it a go.
Okay,
I'm not promoting.
How much is it?
We are sponsored by Tinder.
I would fucking love to
This
be
is not an
sponsored by
ad.
Tinder.
This is just from my personal experience. I enjoy it much more when I can just whittle through who has liked me.
What is it, like a tenner?
It's like maybe a tenner. Fair enough. It might be
tenner a
like
month?
for the week.
For a week?
Wait a week.
No,
But-
I'm not paying £10 to look at
but
perverts.
listen.
I don't need to see what perverts are liking me.
But listen.
No way.
How many dick pics have you got?
Oh, right. I'll come on to that in a minute.
Yeah, no
Jesus
way.
wept. But within that week, you can get a good couple of decent matches you'll maybe get like 2 or 3 dates out of. Or you'll get a good bit of chat for a couple of weeks.
I'm not convinced.
And then
No.
don't knock it till you try it, hen. Don't knock it.
What's your vibe?
Okay.
Do you like to just...
Can you transfer me the £10, please? Because I'm not paying for it.
Mum, can you send me £10?
Someone Tinder goals.
She'll be like, I go for it.
Can I have a go?
I know. What was I going to say?
What's my vibe?
What's the vibe of... Do you use like the chat and then meet up? Or are you like, fuck it, let's meet up?
A bit of both.
I would rather just meet someone, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd like to, you have to do this fun girly thing where you try and figure out if they are
girly thing.
the real person and if they're going to murder you or not, which is a kind of fun element to dating apps.
Yes.
What I like now is that you need to get you can, if you
get
want to, verify
verified.
your photo.
Yeah.
So there's people like profiles that come up that will have a little picture next to it, which means that they've had their face verified.
Oh.
So you upload your photos
Then
and
you
then
have
they
to,
go, you
how
need
do
to
you do it
hold the
again?
camera
Yeah.
up to hold your phone up to your face, then move it away slowly. And it's basically like facial recognition.
Oh.
And if the ether of Bumble
So when he's
or Tinder,
kidnapped the guy in the basement, he just holds
it just holds his face up.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, so it's kind of like to battle catfishes, I suppose.
Yeah, no, that does make sense. It happens quite a lot on the, not personally, I don't know, but I think on...
Yeah, she does, David.
No, on Grindr.
On Grindr,
There's been
okay.
a couple of like gay guy friends that I have who, or like friends of friends who have had to put out on like Facebook being like, this is not me.
Yeah.
And it is like they just go and like
Yeah.
Being
steal,
catfished, yeah.
steal like other gay men's photos and just put them up and just...
I when I was oh god, this was probably about 6 or 7 years, no, probably 7 years ago now. I was on it and I came across
Grindr?
no great. I came across pictures of a family member, friend of a family, I can't speak, a family friend's boyfriend pictures, but up here, and he was claiming he was from Glasgow Uni, he was this and he was that, and I was
Oh.
like, no, you're not, because you live down south, and do you know what I mean? So I messaged his girlfriend. I was like, by the way, I know that this is not Ryan because it's like the kilometers and stuff we're saying he's like 5 kilometers away. It's not Ryan.
Like he's in your living room.
Yeah.
He's
right now.
like, yeah. So I'm just like, it's someone's using his photos, and it is because he was a PT. Obviously, all of his
Very
Instagram
good looking.
and stuff was public, so people can go and see these photos and stuff. So yeah, but I kind of match people that have their photo verified.
Yeah, I try to as well as much as possible.
Oh, I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah.
I do. Me and David did. It's
Because
quite
you're an old
funny.
married lady now.
I
that's
know,
why.
but of course, me and David met on so yet again we knew each other, but
Yeah.
it's like I always thought it was quite good to be like, oh, you are looking, or this starts a
Yes.
conversation.
Yeah.
To be like, oh, we know each other, like blah blah blah. So that's what I always quite liked Tinder for. I literally met up with 2 guys from Tinder, one of which was David, and there was another guy. Oh my god, I can't even remember his name now, but it's quite funny. So we met up, but I was like, I would have been 20, maybe 21, but I was like I was quite young for a 21-year-old. So I was like, oh, being grown up and going to meet someone, and like lying to my mum about where I was, even though I was fucking 21. But we went for drinks in the West End, and he was like, oh, we'll just bar hop about and stuff like that. But like I realised like I'd never really drank like that. Like you know, it was either like local pub, with all your pals, somebody's gaff, or like out. And then it was like, oh, like day drinking, sort of bar hopping.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, right, okay. So it felt quite sophisticated, all this sort of stuff. And then like we knew there was a bit of an age difference. He was like a wee bit older, and we were chatting away, and then he was like, oh, I used to work here. And I was like, oh, that's really funny. Like my high school boyfriend's brother worked there. And he was like, is it this man?
Yeah.
And I went, yes, it is. And then he was like, I know you. Because it was like, so high school boyfriend, Aaron, lovely guy. But he used to play like football with his brother. And he was quite like a quiet guy.
Yeah.
And so then the football, like sort of 5-a-sides team had this guy that I was on the Tinder date with him. And he was like, I always remember hearing that Aaron had a boyfriend. Aaron had a girlfriend, and was like, really? That guy? Like, just because he was like a quiet, wee, nervous guy.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, like went out with him for like 3 years in high school, like all this sort of stuff. And then very bizarre that then I had sex with him that night. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I was like, oh, we know each other. And that's weird because that's like, it's not age difference in adult world, but when you go down the way of like, you were leaving high school when I was still in high school. Like that sort of thing, like to a point where like, that was someone's little brother, like type thing. But and it was like a nice enough guy. But I remember it was like, I was quite pissed off because he lived very near, do you remember when I was in What's Her Face?
Yeah.
Yeah, What's Her Face was like a all-female.
No, I remember, yeah.
Did we know each other then?
No, but you've talked about it.
Ah, right, okay.
Yeah.
I've told you things
I'm
about my
aware.
life. So that was in the Calton, and it was in this sort of community centre that we'd work in and do like sketch shows and stuff like that. And he lived like fucking round the corner. So I was like, okay, like maybe we're not going to go out with each other, but this is like quite fun to like go around and stuff like that. And I sort of could tell that like it wasn't really going that way. But I then just text being like, hey, like I'm about, like I can come over. And in my head, I'm going like, oh, right, okay, it's like probably like one last sexual encounter and then I'll be off, right? And the sex was fine. But it was just like, you know what I mean? It was just like something to do, right? Like, and I was just like, oh, it's exciting to go do that, whether the sex is like good or not. And also I was 20, so I don't think I really knew what good sex was. Mum, please don't be listening to this. Bob, please don't be listening to this. But I was like, oh, right, okay, it's not the best, but I'll just go around, that'll be fine. And then he then texts to be like, oh, I actually think like this isn't really going to go anywhere, so like let's. And I wanted to text back to be like, no, but I thought that as well, but I just thought it'd be a bit of fun. I just thought it'd be, and now I'm like, oh fuck, now it looks like I was really interested when I was at like, and I was just like, lost the game.
I just realised we didn't actually answer your question, which was what is the vibe, and you say you'd just rather meet someone.
Sorry.
Yeah, I think I would rather either meet someone in person,
but like so
first interaction.
How long would you chat to someone before being like, let's meet?
A couple of days.
Yeah,
that's okay. That's good. There's some people that are like, let's speak for 3 months.
No, see, I think there's a danger with that because.
And I don't have that much. I don't care that much about what they have to say.
But you'd rather get to know them in person, because the thing is that people can hide behind a phone. They can have the best chat over text message, but in person they can be bland as fuck.
Yeah.
So I do think nowadays, like I used to be, and again, do you know what? It was purely a safety thing as well. Like I need to get, and it doesn't really matter if someone's going to, attack you in any way. They're going to do it whether they've been speaking to you for 3 days or 3 months. But it used to be that security thing of I need to get to know them, I need to chat to them a little bit more before getting to meet them. But nowadays I'm just like, you can have the best chat in the world, but in person be the worst. So it's just better to chat for a little bit and then meet ASAP.
Yeah, should I start with what's the best Tinder date you've been on? But then I guess if it's a Tinder date.
I have never been on a Tinder date.
Have you not?
Nope,
or like any online, no, you've been on an online date, have you not?
Nope.
Really?
Never.
So you've never went and met them in person?
No. Yeah.
I will transfer you that tenner to get Tinder Gold.
I've dated people, but everyone I have done, I've met in person.
No, but then,
like at a pub or a bar or whatever.
Yeah, like in a pub and a bar.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I reword it. What's the worst date you've ever been on then? If you can think.
You want to go
first? It wasn't a first date.
Oh.
But the first time, I think I was 18 and I was at uni. And I'd met this guy and we'd exchanged numbers. We were chatting for a while and then he was like, right, I'll come through and meet you. He lived outside Edinburgh. I lived in Edinburgh at the time. And he went, do you want to go trampolining?
Oh.
And I was like, pardon? This is like December. And this is the first time I've ever met this guy. Let's go trampolining.
Did you go trampolining?
Did I? Fuck. I was on my period. So I was like, imagine.
And that means it'll just like fall out.
It'd be like a scene from Saw. Oh my God, I really can't go trampolining now. But I did. I thought, like, what? Why?
I think sometimes guys think that means like they're going to be crazy.
They're going to be fun and cool.
They're going to take you to like mini golf. And it's like,
to be fair, I love a mini golf.
I know you love a mini golf.
I do you know what? I love being taken for like drinks in a bar or like for a nice food or whatever. But I'm also a massive nerd and a bit of a geek. So I'm also what? Surprise! So I love like unconventional dates.
Hate an activity date.
Oh, I don't mind it.
I don't want to go axe throwing. I don't want to play pool. I don't want to play mini golf.
Oh, Amy loves pool.
No,
Amy, who's not here again tonight.
Pool. Why is the stick is too long? One end is weightier than the other. I don't know how to hold it, and I don't care.
But then, so this is the thing. David loves to go play pool when we're out, right? But what ends up happening? So I don't have a competitive thing in my body, right? Like I'm a bit like, okay, it's just for fun. Who fucking cares, right? David can't get over the fact that like I don't mind being bad at something.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And so we play and we're playing against each other. But then David starts to give me like pointers.
Yeah.
Or he goes like, well, I mean, you could have hit that one. And I'm like, you're winning. Like, why do you
leave me
care?
alone. I'm having fun just playing the game.
And so it usually ends up in a fight.
just
I usually
nothing
go
I
fuck
want
yourself
to-
and go to the bar.
But our Amy, and she's not here again tonight because she's very, very busy girl. But that is her first date. She want to go play a game of pool for the first date. You're judging her friend.
No, I'm not judging Amy. I just honestly cannot think of anything worse.
No, I love an activity date, but maybe that's just the quirkiness in me.
By the way, how funny is this? So Jen Shaw, who was on the pod, friend of the podcast, she's on holiday with her like core 10 friends from high school, right? There's like 10 girls.
She spoke about them on the podcast.
And they were in Lisbon, I believe, steaming, all this sort of stuff, right? Jen starts she starts texting me being like, ha ha ha, the Facebook messages. And I was like, what? Steaming, right? And I was like, what are you talking about, right? And I sort of end up finding out what she's talking about, and in the message request in Sad Girls Club Instagram, I've got voice notes from her pal Sarah that's on the trip, right? And they're all steaming, like obviously in a taxi or something like that, just passing the phone around, voice noting, and they're going like, love the podcast, like da, 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 da. Like Stephen, blah, blah. It gets to Jen, she's like, I love you so much. I'm like, you're Stephen. But then it gets to Sarah, and Sarah is a lesbian, and so she was like, love it, love that, Amy. I want more gay shit from her, right? I want more gay shit. And then so I was like, Amy can give you more gay. Like I think I voice noted back, and I was like, right, okay, I'll get her to talk about carabiners. I don't know, like the thing that they clip on their with the keys,
right,
which is a stereotype. She was like, that's a stereotype, but yes, I do have one. Thank you so much. She was like, but I just thought that was very funny.
We'll just have a fun queer episode.
Amy can lead it.
Amy can lead it. She'll take your seat. She'll take the laptop for the night.
So what's your worst?
My worst date, this was probably about 7 years ago, no longer than that. But anyway, we met up with a guy. We were going for drinks, and again, chat was great on the app. Met in person, his chat was lovely, but he got a little bit too touchy too soon. And obviously, like, it's a nice build up. Like, if a guy ends up,
but it's also, if you're feeling it, fine. If you're not, then that's
like, I always like the kind of like the butterflies that you get, if a guy's going to touch your knee or not, or if he's going to take your hand.
But no, if he's just going,
you're such a princess.
I'm such a princess. But
whereas
like,
I'm like, okay, cool, let's go.
and also like the lead up to like maybe a first kiss, like love all that, gives me little butterflies. But this guy was like, after our first drink, stood up and was like, can I get you another drink? And I was like, yeah, I'll have this. And he literally came up and he like just winched me. And I was like,
that's quite
okay. And then he would like go to the bar, and then he came back, and it's like, obviously as more drinks were flowing, he was like, now I've always been like, I've always had a curvy bum. I've always had hips and a bum, even when I was like super, super skinny. This man said to me, I love a girl, referring to me, I love a girl with fat thighs and a fat bum. And I went, sir, I understand what you're trying to say, but fat is not the word that you use to describe that.
Like, so fat isn't a bad word. I agree with that. I don't think that's what I don't think he was going for any sort of woke situation.
Oh no, to be fair, it was
the
like
word,
7 years ago. But all he like maybe curvy, thick. I don't know. Fat was not the word.
Or even like just like big bum.
I like a girl with a big bum. Like it just, his wording was all wrong. And then this is when it got super fucking weird. Is that he smoked?
I've left by now. I'm immediately
You're in the Uber.
Goodbye.
He went outside for a cigarette, and then did this whole texting thing where he was like, "Hey,
was he texting?
Yeah, me."
Why?
Oh,
he's
texting.
outside.
Texting me.
Oh, I thought you said he was texting. No, like from text.
Oh, he was texting.
He did this texting thing, and he did a little dance. And I was like, what?
No. He went outside for a cigarette and then started texting.
We were like a cowboy.
Like, he put his cowboy boots on.
His horse is outside.
Sorry.
The horse was called Cigarette.
Yeah, I know.
So he went outside for a cigarette and he started texting me.
That's excessive as well. He's literally outside.
How's your night going? I'm just like, fine,
Like,
lol.
are you having a stroke?
But then he was like, I was like, fine, you? And he's like, yeah, I'm just on this date right now with a really hot girl. And I was like,
is this
yuck.
It's supposed to be role play?
Yeah, well, that's what I was thinking. I was like, this is not. I mean, who's to say? I don't mind a little bit of role play, but
I cannot tell you how uncomfortable I am.
Like
right
it would
I
make
didn't
me
even live through this.
It gave me the ick. It gave me the absolute ick. And then obviously next he was like, oh, I would love to see you again. And I think I was just so desperate to get away from the situation. I was like, oh yeah, we'll see each other
that's
again.
what a lot of
Then the
women
next
do.
morning I was like, absolutely not. So when I texted him that, he just went through the roof and he was like, but you were really into me last night. And I was like, was I though? Or was I, you made this scenario up in your head? But I would have to say, so that was like 7 years ago. But now the dates that I've been on, and I mean, touch wood, I have been very lucky that if I've been on a date and I've not felt it, I'd say 95% of the time, all the guys have been like, all right, no, cool, like that's fine.
Do you think that's because we're just older
I think it's because I'm older now. I think it's because people just respect honesty and openness. I'm just like, I had a lovely time. I'm not like, because there was nothing wrong with them. We just didn't click. And I think when you just say that to people, like, oh, I just wasn't really feeling it, but thank you for your time and thank you for a lovely night, good luck and all that. And then we fight. There's only been one person who I think I've already spoken about in the podcast who was like, it was a half an hour date because he didn't look like the pictures and his I think I've definitely spoke about it before in the podcast, didn't look like his pictures, his personal hygiene wasn't great, and I decided no. And I'm honest with people, I always like to sleep on it. And I'll tell you in the morning, but he texted at like 7 the next morning being like, how did sleep serve me?
He set an alarm.
Oh god, yeah.
He actually didn't sleep. And
I texted him, I was like, oh, like, thank you for meeting me. I was like, but I didn't really feel it, and like, I don't see this going.
You also like, you don't, so
I don't owe anybody that.
It's nice to be nice and stuff like that, but you don't owe, like, people just fucking ghost away. And like that, sometimes that can be upsetting, especially if it was like, oh, we dated for a couple of weeks and that happened. But like, after one date, like, I don't think you fucking
but also like, I just think it's nice to be respectful and be like, just in case everyone's like, oh no, I really enjoyed it, and it's like, it was a nice time, but don't think about me. Like, it's fine. But he was like, well, but we only just met. And I'm like, yeah, but if I met you in a bar, I wouldn't ask for your number. Like, if we had met authentically in real life,
you'd be like,
and we spoke for half an hour, I wouldn't give you my number because I didn't get a vibe. So that's the only, but I'd have to say, I feel like maybe it's just my experience. I've been very lucky, but
I know
most people I've met now have been really respectful.
I'm like, do I have any bad date? No, wait, I do have a really bad dating story. You know it quite well.
I do.
Do you know what story I'm going to say? I don't know if you know this one.
I can't think of anything.
So
Is the place suit one?
Yeah, it's the place suit one.
I think you've told it on this podcast.
Oh.
before.
Have I told it on this
Maybe.
podcast?
No, but I know this.
I told it on another podcast. We were on Out podcast and I told it. And I horrified people.
Yes.
Oh, I'm annoyed that you know it because I like to see people's reactions. But so for the viewers at home, the listeners, for producer Paul,
Buckle up, Paul.
So my worst dating story, I was going out with a guy at the time, but I used it for a play, and I sort of, for the devices of the play, made it sound like a first date because it's horrifying. So I was with my boyfriend at the time, who was a big gym guy, and he liked to eat loads of meat and heavy things, and we went to like a barbecue restaurant and I ate all these stuff. And we get back to his flat and I'm like, oh, my stomach is... I don't even think my stomach was sore.
Oh, no.
Which, like,
It was just maybe a wee bit rumbly.
It's that initial stab.
You
that
just go,
one stab in pain and you go...
And we were in his flat and I was like, I'm just going up to the toilet. Fun bit of information for this is I was wearing a play suit. And for those of you, well, it's all girls, they know what a play suit is. But it's like a onesie sort of situation. Yeah. And it had buttons. And it's always designed that like you're either like
bollock naked.
Yeah, you have to be completely naked because Amy convinced you it looked good without a bra and like all this. You know what I mean? I actually had a wee t-shirt on underneath it and I looked really cool. I looked like I was from Urban Outfitters. And it was great. And so I go to the toilet, successful, right? Yeah. I wasn't sitting there for long.
Yeah.
In and out, great.
Done.
Right, done. And I wash my hands and I go and I go back into the room with him. And what I said in the play is actually better than what was actually said. So in the play I go, oh, and he looks at me and he says the most horrifying words, can you smell that? But what he actually said to me was, can you smell like baby poo? What he said to me, and I was like, oh my god, yeah, no, I can. I thought it was like the smell from before.
Yeah,
like I was like, oh right, okay, you know this story.
No, I didn't know the extent of it.
Right, yeah.
I knew roughly, but
And
not
so
this bit.
I go back to the toilet, and I'm like, right, I've obviously not wiped properly or something, or maybe it's on my hand. So I do the whole place again. I take it down. I check everywhere. It's nowhere, right? And I'm like, maybe I'm crazy, right? And I think I was in there for 25 minutes, like hunting, right? And I was just
Hunting for
I
shit.
can't find where the source of the smell is, and so I'm like, washing my hands in the sink, and then like I look up, and what I forgot to tell you is I had really long hair at the time. It was like down past my boobs. And I look up and I sort of go, oh, there it is. And it was a bit of my hair. And, you know, a little goes a long way. And so it was just a wee bit. And
A wee bit of shit in your hair.
A wee bit of shit in my hair. And I tell pals this, and they go, what do you do? And I'm like, I blacked out. I remember I grabbed, and like loads of pals were like, why didn't you just jump in the shower? Because it wasn't like it was a first date. It was a boyfriend, so it wouldn't have been weird if I jumped in the shour. And I was like, I just panicked.
Why did you not shave your hair off?
Why did you shave your head?
I don't know what that was.
I just panicked. So I started, I grabbed like his 3-in-1 shower gel and like just washed half of my hair in the sink. And because that's not weird, coming in with half a head of wet hair. He'll never know. So I do that. And I'm like, right, okay, breathe, like you're fine, like okay. And then like I go to turn again and I go, oh my God, I can still smell this. Like what the fuck is going on? I'm about to have an absolute meltdown. And then I see that it's on the shoulder of my playsuit, and therefore my little t-shirt on underneath. And so what I deduced months later, because I could not figure out what happened, is in my rush to get the playsuit off, because obviously if you need to go and you're in a playsuit, you're like fucking clawing at it.
Oh no.
As I like sat on the shoulder, like sat the shoulder of it like under my bum, and then just obviously just put it back on, and it just got in my hair and everything.
Martin.
Oh. And
I wish I'd be surprised.
And I honestly, I've never freaked out so much in my life. I took everything off, was washing it in the sink, like all that. Still didn't jump in the shower. I don't know why. That was never an option. And then like,
Is the thought of you doing it as well like Lynx Africa?
like literally like 12 in one. Like,
come out smelling of musk.
steel.
Undertone of baby shit.
And I literally like went back into his room like so defeated, like just a bit like comatose. I was just like, oh. And he was like, oh my God. No, he'd fallen asleep. That was it as well. I was in there so long, he'd fallen asleep, and he woke up.
Do you think you were just there?
Why didn't he not go, are you okay, babe?
Well, this is bad boyfriend, right?
True.
And so I came back in, half a head of wet hair, wet clothes in hand, and he was like, are you, like, what's happened? And I just burst into tears in front of him. And don't get me wrong, bad boyfriend, but he was quite good in this situation of like washed my clothes for me and like
properly.
And he was a big
detergent.
Yeah, he was a big guy as well. So I put on like his joggies and stuff that I had to like roll up 10 times and stuff. And then I then got the bus home like that the next day with the poly bag of my clothes, my wet clothes. And I got in and my mum was there, hi, Baba, are you all right? And I burst in front of my mum. I was like, Mum, this is a story I'm going to take to the grave. I'm not going to tell anybody. Like,
and I wrote it into a play.
No, but then that was it. I said it all and I was crying and I was like, I don't know how this happened. And she listened to the whole thing. And as soon as I stopped, she was like, Hannah, I've got to be honest with you, that's the funniest fucking thing I've ever heard. And then it was just one of those things, like when I was writing the play was about a girl who just did stupid stuff.
Yeah,
like,
just had no luck.
I wonder who that was based on. But yeah, that's my worst dating story. That's my shit dating story.
You asked earlier on about dick pics and what, if any of us has received them. And I have to say, I've only ever received one unsolicited dick video.
Oh yes, you told us about this.
I told you, and honestly, I was speaking to the guy. His chat was great. Then I gave him my number, and his first message was, hey, smiley face, and then sent me a video of him masturbating.
Oh God.
And it was horrendous. And like, I was just like, what? And that's like, it's. But
I just don't understand what
goes through someone's
mind. What goes through someone's
mind? You're going to be like, thank you so much for that.
Oh God, where do you stay? I'm going to come get, like, it's just, and I'm like, no. So I've only ever been sent one, and it just, not a lot of things fazed me, to be honest, but I was just like, the audacity.
It's also, it's so shocking, if you know what I mean.
But just I think it's to do with that. Do you know what I mean?
It's such a bit of a power trip as well.
Yeah, it's
just
like
to completely
catch you off guard.
Yeah, completely.
Well, it's like modern flashing.
Yeah.
Yes, completely.
Mm-hmm. But you know,
you just don't have to hang about a park and do it. You can just like send them.
Mm-hmm. And and to be fair, I could have reported it because it's that is a crime. But I was like, no, just block it. Block his number, block him on everything. I reported him on the app.
Yeah, good.
But
you just don't want him doing it to anybody else.
Yeah, which is I suppose I have that slight regret of going, why didn't I just report it to police and just be like, this guy's a fucking pest. But I did report him to the app, and I was just like, really, really inappropriate. And obviously, like, I told people about it and spoke about it. But yeah, and I just think, how fucking bogging.
I just don't understand the mindset.
I don't understand like the psychology or anything. Why choose that decision?
Yeah.
Well, I think it's either one of two things. As you said, it's either a power trip or it to be like trying to seduce the ladies. And I'm like, it's not that. That's never going to work.
No.
Never going to work.
No, it's not this. You know how when guys see pictures of tits, I don't know, they go like, oh, like, yeah, I'll see a picture of a penis and I'll go, oh,
yeah,
oh no. Anyway, we're running out of time. We could talk about this.
We could literally talk about this for
all of a sudden I was like, I've got a penis story. And I was like, no. So
the penis podcast.
The penis, welcome
spin-off
to the penis
show.
Podcast. So Women of the Week. I've got one.
Oh,
okay.
But I need an intro.
An intro?
It needs to be better than last week.
Give me a genre.
Nope.
You're not going to give her a genre?
Oh, I'll give you a genre. Okay, that's fine. I was like,
nope.
I'm not doing what about like performance poetry or something?
What, slam poetry?
Yeah, slam poetry.
Slam poetry. Women are great.
Women of the Week.
The week. We must know the women of the week. That's as best I can do.
That was
There we go.
very
That's not
good.
bad. Yeah,
Like, I watch a lot. Do you know what? Producer Paul just laughed. It's a win. It was all right. I watched a lot of slam poetry on
that was
TikTok.
giving, what is it? It's like 22 Jump Street or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's Jonah Hill
I haven't watched the first
it's
one.
literally, it's just a clip from it that's genuinely very funny. The movie's fine. But like my pals quote it all the time, and it's like, he's an undercover cop, and they go like, oh, you do poetry? And he's like, oh fuck yeah, so I do. And has to go up and do slam poetry. And he's like, it's about like somebody's died and her name's Cynthia, and that's what he's investigating. And he goes up and he goes like, Cynthia died for our Cynthias. Like, it's so stupid, but it's one of those things that like itches my brain, like really nice. Anyway, our Women of the Week is on topic. So in the stand this evening, right now.
What is today's date though? Because this won't go out for
right now, as we are recording on the 23rd of September, there's a fundraiser for Al Hara Theatre.
Yes.
Palestinian theatre company, and they do a lot of work within Palestine. With like kids, and it's like using the arts to help them deal with their trauma,
because this is why the arts is important.
They do a lot of things for like women in those societies, and obviously it's harder and harder and harder to do these things because there's no space to do it, and there's no land to do it on, and these people are going over, and I think they're based in Bethlehem, I believe.
Yeah.
So they, you're like, yes, that is a place.
No, because it's quite close to the border.
Yes, so they're based there, but they were going in and out and doing stuff. So I think it's now harder to get in, harder to get out, harder to get supplies in. But the woman who runs it is Marina Barham, and she's the director of Al Hara Theatre Company. And so just now, there's a fundraiser at the stand for it. You've got like Susan McCabe, you've got Scott Agnew, you've got Paul Black, Kim Blythe. They're all performing at the moment to raise funds. It sold out this evening. So obviously I was going to go and then I couldn't. I think I thought this was going to finish earlier, so I was going to try and catch it and then I couldn't. But I just thought she will be our Woman of the Week.
Yeah, definitely.
And then we can then put the wee GoFundMe link in with our bios.
Yes.
And then so if you couldn't go to the show at the stand, and that's at the stand holds 170 people or something like that. Like, so they could have sold it over and over and over again.
Definitely.
But our the big thing about it was like, you can't go, you don't want to go, donate.
Yeah.
Like, you can't make it, cool, here's a donation link.
Yeah.
And whether that's £1, £2, £3, £100, whatever you want to do. So I'm going to put the link in with all our stuff, like when all our clips go out.
Yep.
I might just clip this bit and put it out on like socials.
Yep.
And just be like, this is who. It's also a one of like, me personally, I don't feel conflicted about it at all. I think what's happening to the Palestinian people is
horrendous.
Yeah.
Genocide, and it's horrible. But I do understand that some people are conflicted about certain aspects of it and certain things, and this isn't really about that. It's about
The kids.
It's about the kids
arts.
and what this woman and her theatre company are doing for these traumatized people.
Yeah.
And how they work through it, and as well, like, they help women gain skills. And I guess, like, it is a Muslim country, so therefore, like, maybe women don't have as much access to certain things and blah, blah, blah. And if that's what you feel conflicted about, this theatre company helps with that as well.
Yeah.
So they are helping women figure out how to get jobs and fend for themselves and stuff like that. So I think that's worth our time and our energy. And
definitely.
if the only thing we're doing is putting the GoFundMe link in a bio, I think that's the least we can do.
Very least we can do.
Definitely.
Yes.
Yeah. Very good choice this week.
Thank you. I know.
Where can you follow us?
Oh, where can you follow us? You can follow us on Instagram, on TikTok, on Facebook's really shite. Don't follow us on Facebook. But we're there. It's like a notice board.
All the boomers out there can follow us on.
Yeah.
My mum does.
It's like Avon has like this.
Yeah,
like,
of course, yeah.
we are the Sad Girls Club 2024 on Instagram. We are the Sad Girls Club podcast on TikTok. We're on Spotify. We're on YouTube. Like us, subscribe us, 5-star us.
Yeah.
Okay, love you. Bye.
Okay, love you. Bye.
Bye.